Ooh, buddy. Very uncharacteristic day for the Texas A&M offense. However, they found a way to get it done, which is most important. And it's difficult to win, or it's difficult to complain when you walk away with a win, but there is certainly a lot to forget about in this game, from my perspective. Guys, howdy, howdy, fans of the 12th man. Welcome into this Above the Yell episode. This is the post game episode for the Auburn Tigers versus Texas A&M. Guys, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. I love the support. I plan to keep this thing rolling as this is something that I love to do. It's a beautiful day in College Station. It wasn't necessarily a beautiful day for offenses, but despite that, the 12th man showed up. A&M walked away with a 16-10 very ugly victory. Very defensive backed victory. And when you get into SEC play, this was the first SEC game of the year for A&M. When you get into it, you'll take a win any way that you can get it. A&M was able to find a way to do that today and move on to 1-0 in the conference, beating the Auburn Tigers 16-10. Final stats for the day: Marcel Reed, 15 of 22 for 207 yards, averaging 9.4 yards throw. Did have an interception. Interception came on a tipped or dropped ball, however way you want to see it, by Terry Bussey. Good heads-up play there by the Auburn defensive guy who returned that for 72 yards and almost a touchdown. Le'Veon Moss kind of was the star of the day offensively, had 21 carries, 139 yards for 6.6 yards per carry. So Moss seems to be back into his mid-season form as he was last year before his injury. That's exactly what we were looking for in Moss and have been looking for this year, and it came out at a perfect time. Auburn, they have a very good defense, a good defensive line, good front seven, and I think it showed today as the A&M offense struggled to find their footing. To talk about the A&M offense starting there was a lot that can be left behind. Found themselves in very long third downs. A lot of that due to penalties, shooting themselves in the foot. I believe the final penalty, they had 13 penalties for 119 yards. When you are trying to get your offense in rhythm and trying to win a football game with your offense, which A&M had the opportunity to do, but they unfortunately were not able to do it. It is very difficult to win a game, let alone score, when you've got 119 penalties. And I believe this is just based fresh off of memory. We're about 10 minutes removed from the game being over. I believe 11 out of those 13, maybe even 12 out of those 13 penalties were all on the offense, and 95% of those penalties were on the offensive line. If you want to continue to win games moving forward, that is simply not sustainable. There were so many ways that A&M could have lost this game today, I thought. Fortunately, they didn't. They found a way to win. That's what's most important. I said it on the last episode that this is the kind of game that A&M drops. However, they didn't. They found a way to do it, all because of the defense, and I'm going to get to them here shortly. I think they deserve the praise for the performance that they had out there today. And but anyways, back to my point about the offensive line. You can't have so many holding calls, cannot have so many pre-snap penalties. It's going to back you up. It's going to keep your offense from getting in a rhythm, getting in stride. And I simply think that's what we saw today. So I'm not going to hit the panic button on this A&M offense. I think they still have a ton of weapons. Not real sure what the deal with Mario Craver was. He saw some limited time there in the beginning of the game, but it looks like they kind of started to integrate him more as the game moved on. Concepcion, he was really good at times. He's real shifty, finds a way to get extra yards even after contact. He looked fine to me. Craver looked fine. I think the issue with Craver is that Auburn defensively was just they were scheming to keep him limited in today's action. But yeah, offensive line, you got to get that cleaned up simply as we head into SEC play, because that's not going to win you very many games. And luckily, luckily the defense was able to respond the way they did today. Um, yeah, offensively is what it is. Move on, not pushing the panic button. Defensively, they had their best game of the year by far. That might be the best game they'll have all season because it's hard to top the stats that they put up today. Auburn was 0 for 12 on third down. They struggled as well. They they got into some very long third down situations. So that did not do them any favors, but it is extremely difficult to hold a team to 0 and 12 on third down. They also held Auburn to 0 for 2 on fourth down. Total yards 155. I know there were a lot of question marks going in this game, especially with Auburn's offense and how they were able to operate under Jackson Arnold. But it doesn't matter who your opponent is or how mediocre or less than mediocre their offense is. It is simply just difficult to hold an opposing team to 155 total yards, not allow them to get a single third down, and then on top of that, get 7 sacks on Jackson Arnold. Auburn, they struggled with some penalties on the road. However, they were not the most penalized team out there today. 10 penalties for 69 yards. A&M, they were able to corral Cam Coleman and Singleton. That was a huge concern for me. And A&M defensively was just lights out today. There's not much more you can say about that. Torian York showed you why he is the leader of this defense. Phenomenal today. Don't have the exact statistics today for how many tackles he had, but he was involved in so many plays, and he was involved. I think what stuck out to me is he was involved when it mattered most, whether it was in third down situations, fourth down. A&M was able to get some pressure to the quarterback, and it's exactly what that was the recipe for a win against Auburn and against a quarterback like Jackson Arnold, who could beat you with his legs. But they did not really allow him to get into any passing situations. So beautiful outing by the A&M Elko defense. I think we really saw what the Elko defense is supposed to look like. Today was the best showing they've had all season. Hopefully they can keep that up. And that was even without Scooby Williams, who is out due to an injury. However, he should be back shortly. But thankfully, Damian Sanford, who I thought was really good today, in place of Scooby. Yeah, A&M defense. Will Lee, Des Ricks. Des Ricks is by far the best corner that we have. Will Lee, I would say, is second. Tyreek Chappelle and the nickel, he's been phenomenal as well. But man, it's really been fun to watch Des Ricks and watch him just operate and shut down some really talented wide receivers. And he today was on Cam Coleman and did not allow him to get over the top on us. So beautiful day defensively, and as you guys can tell, man, there's so much to say about the defense because that's exactly what we've been wanting to see. We've wanted them to just essentially shut teams down. I think it's what they did today is kind of what we thought they would do against UTSA and Utah State at the beginning of the year, but they didn't, and it was frustrating at times. But the fact that they decided to turn it on and find their groove during this game, I mean, really could not come at a better time. So yeah, I one last thing I will say about the A&M defense in terms of yards per pass that they allowed. Yards per pass, they only allowed Auburn 3.1 yards, and yards per rush 2.2. And you really can't ask for a better day than that. Yeah, and one other thing I wanted to touch back on, going back to the A&M offense, offensively on third down, and I do think that there is room. Obviously, there's always room for improvement, but I do think this can get fixed rather quickly. A&M was 3 of 14 on third down today. They have not really been all that great on third down this year entirely, but they were especially bad today. I think a lot of that was due to the pre-snap penalties, holding calls, getting themselves in third and longs. At one point, I believe they had like a third and 25, and it's just simply hard to convert on those long plays. So if they can essentially get the offensive line cleaned up and eliminate just the pre-snap penalties, holding calls, that's a whole nother um, kind of a whole nother animal to deal with. But if you can just clean up the pre-snap calls, you could see some large and quick improvement there in third down efficiency. That's the post game. That's my instant reaction as A&M walks away 4-0, first time since 2016 that they are 4-0, 1-0 in the SEC, and we move on. I believe A&M has Mississippi State at home, and Mississippi State is looking good against Tennessee today. So once again, not an easy opponent coming into Kyle Field. But for now, I will sit on this win, sit on this victory. Excited for this team, excited to see them grow and get better. Hopefully, that's always the hope. Before no for your Texas A&M Aggies. Guys, thank you for watching. If you've made it this far, please like and subscribe, comment with your thoughts below. And as always, till next time, gig 'em and God bless.